What's good with YouTube? You already know a Convict's reaction, man, with your boy Flacco coming live and direct on this platform, man. What do we do on this platform? We react to everything, man, from fucking movies to fucking videos to YouTube channels and whatnot, man. And so I got a good reaction for you guys today, man. But before we do that, man, let's talk further, man, about subscribing, commenting, and helping support this channel, man. Please hit that like button right now please hit that like button to help support this channel and hit the bell notification for further notifications on this channel. So we're going to react to an older movie, man. We're going to react to a movie called Felon. Okay. Felon's an interesting fucking movie, man. It takes this man throughout a course of life to where he ends up in prison, man. Ends up in the S.H.U block, ends up becoming friends with an individual, man. And it shows how the S.H.U yards look back then a little bit, right? Now, that's the one part of this movie that they done pretty accurate, right? Was the yard looked exactly like almost how Cork and S.H.U was like. Cork and S.H.U yard almost went like a diamond shape, right? And it had two different yards. You know what I'm saying? You had this side and that side, right? And so they could take you to the Sally Port and you never knew which yard they were going to pop. There'd be someone on this yard or a group yard on this side and whatnot. After a while, they started to run both group yards for that particular faction at the same time. But what they used to do is they used to bring everybody out, you know what I'm saying, like 5 Southsiders, 4 Woods, you know what I mean, maybe 2 Africanos, then maybe a Norteño, and then eventually they're going to just get off. Sometimes they'd get off right away. Sometimes they'd wait for everybody to get to the yard, and they would just get it. You know what I'm saying? And then the gun towers would be there, right? And the way they portrayed it, yes, a lot of those guards were like that, man. You had them that would used to go, let's get ready to rumble. And like fucking, they would bring someone from like C pod all the way to A pod just to get into a fucking fight. They would bet, they would do all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? If you were fucking a dude that was giving them headaches, they would fucking just bring you out to the yard with about 5, 6 of your opposition would already be out there and they would let you take flight. The fucked up thing about it is they put you in a position to where when you went out there and got off, you know what I'm saying, you get shot. So, like, if you didn't live up to the standards of what they expected, you were going to get it, man. You know, the movie was good for Hollywood theatrics. And like I said, there's always going to be stuff that's not accurate. And in this movie, there was a lot of things that weren't accurate. But for the most part, man, it gave a good description of how corrupt these guards were at that time in corporate. Now, these same guards, you know what I'm saying, I find it kind of ironic how they showed the personal life to the one fucking captain or lieutenant, whatever his name is, right? And then his personal life and tried to substitute the two and how much of a fucking evil individual he was. You know what I'm saying? Now, the scenes when they fucking went against the guards and all that shit, that would have never fucking happened, man. You know what I'm saying? Because every one of these yards, believe it or not, they had fucking cameras, believe it or not. So they could film everybody getting off. You know, it went down every day. Every fucking S.H.U block. Some of them were just fist fights. Some of them were stabbings. You know what I mean? You never know what was going to happen, man. Some of them were square off. Some of them were fucking equal. And it seemed like the ones that were getting more of the bat in the stick would be the Northerners and Blacks. You know what I'm saying? I think Boxer did a little review about that and that they were more the aggressors. Because see, within the Norteño functions, I'd say yard back in the days, they were not able to coexist with anybody that was an enemy. So they weren't allowed to exist with whites or Sureños. So if you got put out there in the yard in the hole with them, you were going to get off. That's just how it was. You know what I'm saying? Or with those that were no good. You know what I'm saying? So this kind of illustrated a pretty good, you know, idea of how it was in the S.H.U. You know what I'm saying? Like, you weren't going to see no whites, blacks, and Southerners on the same yard. They were going to get off with each other. They were going to try to coexist. They were going to try to program. It was getting off, man. That's the only thing that I say that was a little bit different with this film. But they tried to keep the numbers to where it wouldn't be a fucking, like, big melee. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be like 5-on-5 or, you know, whatever group was out there predominantly. As soon as those dudes came out that were fucking the opposition, they were probably going to get off right then. You know what I'm saying? Because the way it used to operate, let's just assess it, man. But all the theatrics and stuff about the dude when he fucking shaves his head and looks like a skinhead and, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of, I thought it was kind of ironic how the dude tried to set him up in the bus and shit, right? And then they ended up whacking that dude. You know what I'm saying? So these dudes were acting like they were all high power in the film. It was a good movie, man, but it just kind of seemed like it was in a dark place to where there wasn't too much. Like, they only filmed really at one location. You know what I'm saying? You know? like I said though, man, prison it works like that sometimes though, man. And I've yet to see a film that has been totally accurate with anything to do with prison, man. And will that ever come? I don't know. Shot Caller, that wasn't accurate. American Me was probably more accurate as far as some of the scenes and how it was in Folsom at that time, I believe. Blood In, Blood Out was a little bit more theatrics as well. But I mean, some of the scenes could be. American Me was probably maybe the closest to what prison was like, maybe in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? I think that one. But other than that, there really hasn't been a film that has pretty much shown how prison really is. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see a new prison about all this new stuff that's going on currently. Like the End of All Hostilities would be a good fucking film. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe shit. There has yet to be one that has fucking identified the North Daniels as accurately or the NF. You know what I'm saying? So those are things I potentially think that would be good for Hollywood, man. That's something to talk about. You know, and I think that will come. You know what I'm saying? I think in a time that people are going to finally realize that, what the North Daniels or NF, which is NF is just not about North Daniels, but the NF needs its story. And I think the North Daniels need a story. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a good storyline there in any event. You know what I'm saying? And I think some of these current events that have happened will be good storylines. You know what I'm saying? Especially around 2023, 22, 23. Look at all the stuff that's happened, man. You know what I'm saying? I think these will be good discussions for potential films, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Later on down the line. They make movies about everything else. I think this would be pretty good. But other than that, it's an okay film. You know what I'm saying? Someone asked me to do it. I think it's a good movie. It's enjoyable. Far-fetched, though, at times. Some scenes are actually accurate in some senses, but they've yet to really I think sometimes the characters in these fucking films, they have a one-way out perspective of looking at things. Like the shot cars are always looking the same, always humble and this and that and big. And they always have this young white dude that's all fucking pumped up and shit. You know what I mean? And the southern movies and stuff, they're always the vatos are just walking slow and shit like this and shit. And, you know what I mean? It's always the same characters. I would like to see some more real people about how they would really interact. You know what I'm saying? Not all this fucking everybody's all fucking serio and fucking serious. You want to see a film that has like the realities of prison, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I personally want to see. And I think that time will come. I think the one film that, as far as in the gang eras, that was pretty also good was there was a couple that were like Boulevard Nights was good for its era. You know what I'm saying? Because it was kind of like that. They didn't kind of overdo it. Even Duke of Earl, those were good films in the 80s. But we'll go into some of those later on as far as my reactions to those films. But so far, these are basically the only two movies that are based upon the white car in California. Shot Caller and Felony. I've already did both these, man. I've done American Me as well. I think I'm going to get to some other ones that you guys probably never heard of. But as long as these movies don't become too Hollywood, you know what I'm saying, I think that it would do better justice to make it even more realistic and not to bend certain parts of history like American Me did. I get what his idea was when he did so, right? But I don't think he thought of the ramifications for that. About the rape scene in Juvenile Hall and all that. I think we need some storylines that are as accurate as they can be. With that said, it's a Convict's Reaction. This is your boy Big Flacco. Have a positive, productive day. I'm out.